Hello, friends, and welcome to SermonLink. My name is Pastor Katja Brodbeck, and it's the second week that I am doing SermonLink. Pastor Larry is on vacation, and we are hoping and praying that he is having a great time. And I'm privileged to do this SermonLink and preach again this Sunday. I have to tell you, though, that I miss him personally. Yes, it's been great and things are going well in the church, but it's really nice it would be very nice to have Pastor Larry back and to share ministry in a team. So I'm excited to talk about the parable of the prodigal and his brother from the 15th chapter of Gospel of Luke. And I'm not going to actually read the first part of the parable. I'm gonna read like two or three verses, and then I'm gonna skip, and I'm gonna really focus on the elder son and older brother at this time. So I'm gonna go ahead and read. It starts like this. Then Jesus said, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of the property that will belong to me.' So he divided his property between them. A few days later, the younger son gathered all he had and traveled to a distant country, and there he squandered all his property." So we know then from the story that the younger brother goes off into a Gentile country, and it says that there was a famine, and he finds himself among pigs, really, eating the food that the pigs eat. And he comes to his senses, he comes to himself and realizes that he could be a servant, at least, in his father's house. And so he goes off and he kind of decides what he's going to say. And then we know this beautiful scene when he's coming closer to the home, and the father sees him and he starts to run towards him. He embraces him, and there's so much joy in this, and just beautiful forgiveness and the repentance of the younger brother. And so then the story continues with that the father throws a huge party, they celebrate, and so here that's where I'm going to pick up on the story with verse 25. Now his elder son was in the field, and when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. He called one of the slaves and asked what was going on, and he replied, "Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf because he has got him back safe and sound." Then he became angry and refused to go in. His father came out and began to plead with him, but he answered his father, "Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you, and I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you have never given me even a young goat so that I may celebrate with my friends. But when the son of yours came back, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fatted calf for him." Then the father said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was dead and has come to life. He was lost and now has been found." I just love the story, and actually I think it's one of the most favorite and maybe the most famous story or parable of Jesus. We know from history of Christianity and just even history of art that there were a lot of paintings, especially the Rembrandt, The Return of the Prodigal Son. It's a really beautiful work of art and profound, and the Rembrandt has kind of his own process around that. In fact, Henry Nouwen He is an amazing, used to be an amazing theologian, and really um, studied prayer and contemplation. So he wrote this beautiful book on that painting, and he describes all three characters of the younger brother, the older brother, and the son. And the father. And so I'm in the middle of reading that, and it's really profound. And when I'm looking at the theme of this whole chapter, is really this kind of lostness, right? Of being lost, but then being found in the embrace of God's love, and this amazing forgiveness. And so there are these three parables in chapter 15 that kind of have this beautiful theme going on, but especially in this parable, I always think how Jesus has been just this amazing psychologist, um, this amazing view of human psyche, and how can we be lost in such a different way. And of course, with the younger son, it's very apparent, and there is this sort of visible distance that was created between him and his father, that he ran away, that he squandered everything, that he partied, that he obviously did run things. But for the elder brother, his lostness is not quite apparent, because he's pretty close with his father, so he doesn't go away anywhere. He kind of does the old-fashioned older brother thing. He stays together. He does all the right and good things. And yet, we know from the text there's distance. He's close, but he's not. And as we look at the text, it says, kind of, first of all, it becomes apparent to us that he might be lost too, that when he receives the news that the younger brother is home, and why there's a party going on. And so in response to the servant who told him about it, he became angry, and he refused to go in. So there's this beautiful party going on and celebration, and he refuses to go in. First of all, it's his brother. He hasn't seen his brother. We don't know for how long he has been gone, but he hasn't seen him. So there is the separation. What's going on in this relationship, right? And he refuses to come in and to celebrate with him. And so what the father does, as always, as the father came out and ran towards the younger son, the father comes out. The father comes out of the celebration, or whatever the celebration was, to see the elder son, and he says he begins to plead him. And this, again, it's amazing. The older son does not say, "Dad, what the heck is going on?" He just says, "Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you." And so there's this deep resentment in the elder brother. And even though he's seemingly been really close to the father, he was there all the time, he's very distant. He's angry, and he's resentful. And then he separates himself from his younger brother. He says, the son of yours. He doesn't even say, well, my younger brother did all of these things. No. And look at the response of the father. As always, is this to bring the restoration, to bring the peace, and kind of bring together the pieces that were lost, that were missing. The father says, "Son." Oh, how beautiful. He brings back to him kind of the memory and the reality, really, that he's also his son, and it is a lot. It means a lot. And then he says, "You're always with me. All that is mine is yours." Because as the older son, and in that tradition of that time, he would receive all of that father had. He would receive all of it. And so then the father what does, so he names him his son. Then with his brother, he says, "This brother of yours was dead and has come to life." So he again reminds him that this is his brother. This is your relationship with your brother. And kind of the father insists on the celebration and on the joy that really happens when people are found in God's presence and in God's love. And so I love how the parable ends, because it doesn't really say whether or not the older brother comes into the party, into the house to celebrate. And so I think this is where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to invite us into the reflection. Are we going to come into the celebration, to the party, and how are really we lost, or maybe we are not, or maybe we are, and maybe we are very seemingly close to God in a lot of things. If you just look at our lives from the outside, just like we can look at the elder brother's life from the outside and can see that he's there, he loves his father, he does all these things, but his heart, for some reason, has become cold. So, friends, this is our invitation to reflect. You're going to come into the party and celebrate, okay? So, this is what I'm bringing to you at this SermonLink. So, I hope you watch it. I hope you share it. Click and give us thumbs up for that. So, thanks so much, and have a blessed day. Bye.